Well, Brian, it was a real harem-scarum match. Goodison Park, Everton get the win, 1-0. I'll be honest with you, I said a couple of weeks I was talking to Kevin Kilbane, I felt Everton could be going down. I think this is looking really serious for them. But after that performance today, my mind has totally changed. What do you think they've done?
Well, it certainly adjusted the style of play. I mean, you look in the last four games, they beat Manchester United 1-0, they draw with Leicester 1-1, they beaten 2-0 at Liverpool, they beat Chelsea today. So they got 7 points in those four games. I think if you'd have asked any Everton supporter in advance of the four games, would they take 7 points? They said, yes, please. I think, they've obviously played a much tighter system. They've changed today again and went to a 5 at the back with Alex Iwobi right back. And Mikalenko left wing back with Seamus going into a third centre half, and it was very effective. Allowed the centre halves to go in after Werner and Mount playing as whatever the two number 10s they're called now, and they defended very well and they waited on the chance. Didn't get too many chances in the first half, but they worked hard to get the chance in the second half, and Richarlison played very well. Mostly as the defensive centre forward, I'd say, chasing round Everton's three centre backs to stop the build-up play. But they got the reward, they got the goal, and then they dug in. But it did take some great saves from Pickford to keep Chelsea out. But a massive victory for them, and it gives them a good chance. But unfortunately, from their point of view, Burnley are on a bit of a run as well. They've won 3 games in a row, and Leeds are there. Leeds are not in a great situation. But they've given themselves a real chance, and there'll obviously be confidence in the side now, having won that game today. Can they do something in a couple of the away matches is the question. Their away form has been very poor. They've still to go to Watford. I think they've Watford and they've got Brentford, and they've got
Villa
Arsenal,
home, Villa
they've got Villa. So there's still points there for them to get, but they're going to need more points. That puts them on 32. I think they'll need 38 points to stay up.
So at least 2 wins. The good thing for them, though, is that Richarlison scored. That's his first one in a while. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't been scoring. Interesting to see him left on the bench.
Hasn't been playing.
Yeah, and Rondon coming on, so he's obviously out of favour. So really important, I think.
I wouldn't say he's out of favour. I'd just say he's not fit enough and that he's not sharp enough. I'd say the fact they got him on the bench today would indicate that he must have trained during the week. Or another week's training, they might think about starting him in the match or bringing him on if it comes down to a situation similar to today. It was probably situation today was more about not getting another goal. It was about defending the goal. There was no point in risking Calvert-Lewin if he wasn't really fit.
And they got a clean sheet against Manchester United at Goodison, a clean sheet today at Goodison against Chelsea. 2 good sides with good goal scorers in them. What do you think Frank Lampard has done to do that? Because he was never known for his good defensive coaching at Chelsea.
Well, the pressure is on now to get results by hook or by crook. It's not about stylish football and playing an open, expansive game. It's about digging in and making the best of what you have. And when you look at what they have, you look at Anthony Gordon and Gray and Richarlison and say, well, they're at their best on the counter-attack because they've got a bit of pace and dribbling skills between them. And there's no point in them trying to outplay Chelsea with buildy-uppy football, I'd say, from the back. I mean, you saw in recent games, Liverpool game, Manchester United game, no short kick-outs, no throwing the ball out at the back and trying to play out through the midfield and up to the front. It's been king it up and play from there. It's the old style. And, if that's what's required and that's what's effective to get you results, that's okay. And Frank Lampard has recognised that. I don't think it would be his natural game or in his own DNA. He would have been brought up in the West Ham style as a player, obviously played for Chelsea for years, but would have been brought up on that style of possession-based football, bringing everyone into the game, getting your attackers up the pitch. But that's not what's required at the moment. It's about being solid defensively, battling and scrapping the midfield, making a few chances on the counter in the front positions, and then if you get ahead, dig in. And that's what they've done against Manchester United and Chelsea to get 6 points. So, they've still a bit to do. 32 points for 5 games to go. As I said, I think they'll need at least 38. So they're going to have to find another 6 points.
Well, just lastly on that particular situation, the relegation situation, you're looking at Leeds. As you would expect, they got beaten by Manchester City last night. But out of those 3 teams, as you mentioned, Burnley are in good form. Everton have shown good form today. Of those 3, who would you be most worried for?
Well, prior to today's performance, Everton, I would have said. But having got the win today, I think they'll all be buoyed by that. I think they'll all feel a lot better about themselves, and I think they'll have found a style that's working for them. And I think it's fair to say they have a lot of good players out and not available, and lads that could be contributing. We talked about CalvertLewin, Tom Davies is another one, Van de Beek is another one who could make a contribution. Young Patterson, the sign from Rangers, hasn't really had much of a chance as yet. But I think getting a couple of those players back for the run in could be very important to them. Brought on Dele Alli late today. Rondon did all right. But who would I be mostly worried about? I was most worried for them. I really don't know what way it's going to go. Leeds in general have played quite well. I've looked at a good side. The manager's made a difference. The team has changed their style. They're more organised defensively, not conceding as many goals too. But I'm sure they're all still very worried about the situation they're in. But at least, I think they're looking at saying, well, Watford are gone. Watford they may not be gone mathematically. They're not going to save themselves. Norwich are gone. So there's one spot between the other 3, and it could be a fight till the last day. I think it will be.
Just to ask you finally then, Brian, on Chelsea. They're now on 66 points, just 5 clear of Tottenham, who've moved up to 4th. Arsenal, as we speak, are still to play. They could win against the West Ham side, who have one eye in Europe. Do Chelsea now need to start worrying a bit about that top 4 position?
Well, I think they'll still be okay.
Yeah.
I think they've got eyes on the cup final as well. That's obviously a massive opportunity for them to win a trophy, because it's the only trophy they can win now this season, beaten in the League Cup final on penalties by Liverpool, and obviously out of Europe after those 2 great battles with Real Madrid. So I think that's important competition for them now. But I think they'll be comfortable enough as regards the top 4. Arsenal and Spurs have a bit to do to overtake them, and I think they'll be okay. Chelsea on the top 4 situation, I think that. But the manager put out a very strong team today, and he'd be disappointed with that result. I think next game out, you might be looking at the game after that, the cup final. I think he'll play Leicester in the midweek before the cup final. So Leicester don't have much to play for either. Their European thing is the more important thing, but they'll know where they stand after this Thursday, where the European situation is over. If that's over, their season is over, Leicester. So it'll be 2 teams, one with a bit to play for, Chelsea top 4 and the FA Cup final. So Chelsea will have more to play for, and I think they'll get those points off Leicester if they need them.
Thanks, Brian.
My pleasure, Stephen. Thank you.